Next few slides, we will cover material specifications when it comes to soils. ASTM D2487 covers standard practice for Unified Soil Classification System. ASTM D4318 covers standard test method for liquid limit, plastic limit, and plasticity index. ASTM D422 covers standard test method for particle size analysis of soils. ASTM D4829 covers expansion index. ASTM D1557 covers standard test method for compaction. Obviously, testing lab would be, or test inspector, special inspector would be well familiar with these test methods, ASTM test methods. As a project inspector, you need to be aware of where these test requirements are, and so you can question them which test method is going to be using, just to be knowledgeable. Obviously, project specifications would have everything you need to know. So as project inspector, open your project specs. When it comes to soil materials, they'll indicate, just like highlighted in red, any borrowed material, soil material should be free of organic materials, rock greater than a certain size, and make sure anything that's coming to the site comply with the soil specifications. Another example of soil fill would be in your project specifications, and it'll list all the material and the layers required as is compacted. Another example of material specifications under moisture control and backfills and fills. Special inspector should be made aware of anything that needs to be followed in case he's not familiar with them. Next few slides, we will cover testing and inspection of soils. DSA 103 testing and inspection form. You should be familiar with them. If there's any soils work, grading, testing, pay attention to the column under general soil compaction, and there's a listing of tables and type of testing required, periodic or continuous or special, and performed by who would be performing, whether geotech engineer or laboratory of the record or project inspector. Any code references all listed in DSA 103, so you should be familiar with DSA 103 when it comes to testing and inspection. A few more examples of ASTM D1556 test setup or nuclear test ASTM D2922. You can probably learn a lot more about these tests when you go on YouTube and learn more if you want to be familiar with them, what special inspectors are going to be doing for testing. Examples of sand cone and nuclear densities test setups. Again, any equipment special inspector or geotechnical engineer be using, you want to be familiar with, learn more about it so you're more well-rounded inspector at the site. A graph showing ASTM D1557 when results are plotted, saturation versus the optimum density. Special inspector should be well familiar with this graph. Table here shows particle size conversion when sieve analysis are used. If you're not familiar with how many millimeters and inches and so forth. Here's an example of compaction test report, which indicates which ASTM method was used, data was performed on, the dry density, optimal moisture, so on and so forth, and whether it passed or failed. It should be in your records after special inspector is done performing the test. If reporting is required, DSA form 201 would be required to be filled by the special inspector. An example of DSA 201 form for reporting for compaction test reports, and the special inspector should be filling this one. So then you should be keeping them in the project files.